Rightio. Now we're gonna try to get everything back in there, break some fingers, all that sort of stuff. Alright, we'll start with the dust cap, bring the dust cap out. I'm gonna wipe some of this brake fluid so I don't wreck all the paint left. Now we've checked the bore, make sure that that seal is lubed. Just a little bit of rag. That looks pretty good in there. Just check the back. Okay. So, well, the way I do it, hopefully it works for people. I've sanded that down, taken off a fair few burrs and smoothing it off. Now we work it slowly on there. Okay, bring that up. What do you reckon? Hey, like I bought one. Now, we'll remove our spring. Put our worm gear in there. I'm just going to give it a bit more of a cleaning. I'm not happy with what's in there. Okay. A little bit of fluid. Alright, put that all the way home. Pop the spring on there. This is just all assembly grease from when they put it together. Alright, and get ready. So we'll stick that in there. I got to show you guys a trick, because I remembered watching another video of a guy trying to push the assembly and it keeps coming back out on him. Well, when you buy them new, you get these fancy doobidackers. Wait, don't put it there, won't do much there. Just pop that in the hole, and as you're pressing, all the air will escape through the back until the ring gear sits in there, until the spiral gear, sorry, the adjuster, and that'll keep it locked in there. Alright, so I'm just going to let it sit up there for a bit. Just give it a bit more brake fluid. Oh, and another thing, guys, make sure you do this now. This square groove there, that is for the back of the pad. Face it as straight as possible out the gap here. Okay. If you don't, you'll be having fun trying to get your pads and then trying to turn it and all that sort of stuff. And I'll have to take it out again. The spline gear came out. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, so making sure that yeah, that's come through. You'll need that in a second. Making sure that piston is, the groove is facing back. You get to about there, then you can sort of use the e-brake to bring it in, and then from there on, it's wanting to come back out. Straighten it out a little bit. And just slowly work it in. There you go. Alright, now that doesn't look too bad. If you can turn it while you're here, which I cannot, but that doesn't look too bad. Okay, I'm happy with that. Then you push your dust cap in. And thanks to that little cap there, piston staying in there, making sure that that's all out. Beautiful. Alright, well, I like that. Making sure that's done. Now, before you put the lever on, wind that out, and there you go, it's found its home. So winding in is the ratcheting system, winding out is winding the piston out, and that's where you want it. You want it all the way bottomed out, this as far out as possible. And then you've got your two seals. Remember, that one is, you can see there's a little rise on it, that goes that way, and this little seal has a groove. That's your outer. The groove goes over the top of that lubricating seal, and all your business, and hey presto. Alright, I'll get back to you. Alright guys, now we're on the home run, so I'm just going to take this lubricating seal off, nice and gentle. It's only a piece of paper and nylon jazz. Now this here is, well, this here in Australia is Protex rubber grease. This is the stuff I use with the slide pins, which is another thing I want to show you guys. This is silicon based, Permatex silicon based grease, which is what I'll use here. Just a light smear. Check you haven't got any debris on there. Clean the seal up. Right, the seal goes on. Now remember, this is all the way out. Being that this is your left-hand caliper, when you go to tighten up the bolt, it's going to want to push the piston out. So just do it up enough. Just make sure that this hex pattern is firmly on there. Find its sweet spot. So there's the sweet spot there. I'll bring it out again. Okay, that's its sweet spot. And then what I'll do is I'll put a little bit of Loctite on there, because this has been off a few times and it's not really locking on there like it did when I first took it off. So I'll put a bit of Loctite. Make sure the threads are clean. Okay, give me a second. All right, shake it up, shake it. Just make sure that's all good. There's some in there, somewhere. Come on. It's going everywhere else but on the thread. I'll spread it around. I'll wipe that off later. You can even do this after you adjust your piston. I'm lucky that I got a bit of a firm grip, so I can sort of hold this there while I'm tightening, stop it from taking off on me, and I'll do the final tighten on the car. Okay. How far does that thread stick out? Usually 1 or 2 threads. That's about as much as you get before you start demolishing the seal and causing yourself all sorts of drama. Now, wiping off the excess Loctite, I'll give the caliper a bit of a wipe down with a wet rag. And the brake fluid on there. Alright. So, just in case there's any brake fluid on there, I want to clean it off. I'd rather let the paint get damaged from rock chips and all that sort of stuff than my neglect. Yeah, sock. Gotta love socks. Gotta love them when your neighbours hang them out there for you. Matching pair. Okay. Alright. Just a light dry off, nothing fancy. So that is your caliper back together. Don't forget to, so remember, there's your square. That's where the rear of the pad sits into. Make sure it's straight back. Then you put this doobie on. Okay. And Bob's your uncle. Now, very importantly, and this is something a trouble I had with new calipers or remanufactured calipers. All of these were tight as buggery. These sleeves, the only way to get them in there was lube and force. So I was thinking to myself, what's going on here? I bought these oversized, and then I checked them, and I got these calipers from two different, like the rear ones I got from another company and the front ones I got from another company. Every single sleeve, every single bolt, perfect. They all measure up, they're all the same. So I thought, well, the next thing is the O-rings. So I started digging them all out, and I don't know what, like where these O-rings came from. But when I put them on a bit of bar, what I found was every caliper has, not every, but the rear ones have black, the black ones, and the front ones have orange. And what I found out was the ID was slightly larger than the orange ones, and the OD was slightly smaller than the orange ones. So what was happening was either the groove is not deep enough in here, but what was happening was you're pushing the O-ring in, which should sit in there nicely, and what's happening is because the O-ring is so big, it's narrowing the ID so your sleeve can slide through. So you're forcing and forcing, you put a bit of lube, they start sliding back and forwards, and then about an hour later they're locked solid, not going anywhere, and that's including the smaller ones too. So now that's got a little bit of lube on it, but nothing, and that goes in there beautifully. Firm, but easy push. See, just with the fingers. What I ended up doing, I've ordered a whole heap of new ones and genuine GM ones, because I was curious to know, and I've measured these ones, so I'll compare them with the genuine GM ones when I get them. But what I ended up doing was just on a linisher, and took a little bit off, bit by bit, still following the shape that was originally in there, and just kept going and going until I finally got it to nicely slide, so the sleeves nicely slides in there. It took a little bit of time. I had a mate do it and help me, and we got it. So like that, and that's how it should be. Really easy. Not like this business where you're like, getting the G-clamp in there and the hammer and trying to push it through. No, it should be just easy. And when you put lube on there, it literally just wants to fly out. But it's not loose, it's still firm. That's what you want, that firmness. But also you want it to slide, because obviously O-ring made of rubber on steel, it wants to stick. So yeah, check your O-ring sizes, guys, and pretty much that's all I can help you with. I hope it has helped, and I hope the video's been enjoyable. Hope I haven't talked too much crap. Anyway, yeah, send some comments and let me know what you think. Alright, have a great one, guys. Bye bye.